Yes. All right. Savage Brushstroke, episode 3. And I'm here with my buddy Erik Bergstrom.
How you doing, Ralph? Good to see you.
Erik and I have known each other, maybe 8 years?
I would say 8 years. We started to do karaoke over at Cobra Club.
Yeah, maybe 7 years. I would say 7 years. So 7 years. And I knew you before then. I knew you when I was running around. I saw you doing at mics and stuff from like 2009 or when I was running around with when I was running around with Tyler Fisher and Charles Gould and Tomas Delgado to open mics. Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, we probably did. I've known you for sure since 2013.
I'm a dum-dum and only recall the because you were there every Friday for karaoke after the show at Cobra Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hosting karaoke. But So I've known you for a long time, and you are in New York.
Pandemic.
Oh, great question. I'm doing mostly okay. I think I caught the COVID.
Are you serious?
I had a sick. Right when the quarantine started, like a few days before, I got sick in a way that I'd never been sick before. I had chest congestion and I was dry cough for a couple of days, and that cough turned very phlegmy, but it was like a very frothy phlegm.
Ooh,
I never had shortness of breath and I never had fever, but I did have a little bit of fatigue. I did have definitely a cough. It was sneezing and runny nose, which they say some people say that's not a symptom of COVID, but some studies say that's a symptom in very few cases, like a small percentage of cases, you get runny nose and sneezing. You
got a full spectrum of things. I made a dumb joke about you getting your first period, but that is not with you. Are you okay?
I feel great. I'm still coughing. It never was bad. There was a couple days when the coughing hurt a little bit, like a tiny bit, and that's it. And I've just been trying to stay away from people. I never got a fever. Anya had a fever for like 1 day. So either we're both crazy and we never had it, or we just had a cold that is similar to it, or we had it and it just ran through both of us and it wasn't that bad.
Well, that's the hope, I guess.
So still, no matter what, we're staying the hell away from everyone. How about for you? I know we saw each other just a couple days before the quarantine really happened.
Yeah, no, I've just been living in stark isolation. What is it? Since I had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma that had spread to the bone marrow. So it's like I'm one of those people that might be immunosuppressed. It's really weird. There's some things I get and it doesn't affect me, but then there's some things I get that stay forever and mess me up. So I've been extra careful, but I've been eating as much junk food as possible. And I've been eating well, but I've been paranoid about going outside.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't blame you. We have gone outside, but I don't go to hang out or do any things. If I'm outside, I stay far away. I'm just going to take a long walk. That's all I've done.
Some walks and then just gone to the grocery store and to a bodega.
Yeah, definitely trying to walk. I'm gonna probably go for a walk later on today. But so we've only got about half an hour, and then I got to give up this Wi-Fi so Anya can do some tutoring. But I want to talk to you about 2 pieces of art, one from a famous artist, one from a peer that somehow influences the art that you do. And I want to give also context of, is that your doorbell?
It is. Hey, did you get that? Dang. My girlfriend's getting something.
Yes. So I want to give context of it, and correct me or amend this if I'm incorrect. You're a New York-based comedian, and you're also an illustrator. You've done some cartoons for the New Yorker. Am I right about that?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I've also done some voiceover stuff for some of their little animated apps, and then I've done. I have a book out of morbid comic strips out with Penguin Books.
And you have your comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the book called? What's the book called?
It's called Grimmer Tales. It's out with Plume, which is an imprint of Penguin. And then I've been, I guess if you're talking about comedy stuff, I have a Comedy Central half hour, and I've been on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Mm-hmm. And you have a lovely album called what is it called?
It's Serious Goose.
Curious Goose?
Serious Goose. The
Serious Goose.
A silly goose. It is
yes.
A serious goose. Here, I can show you just the cover of it. I drew the cover of it.
Beautiful.
That's little me. Oh, wait.
I'm gonna make sure to post that in the thing so people can see it. I think that's a full breadth of Erik Bergstrom right there. And you host a weekly comedy show when there's not a quarantine. You host a weekly comedy show at the Cobra Club.
When there's no quarantine and I'm not just living in the rafters there, well, there is a quarantine. I do host a comedy show there. It's good. It's got Live from Outer Space every Friday. Except for now, and going forward, possibly forever, because it's a lot of fun. A lot of 6 feet away from each other distance is the essence of hilarity. I don't know. I'm spending a lot of time alone, and that is hours come from absolute solitude, as you can see. But I think, it's all been okay. A lot of writing, but then some just like it is isolating for social people like us.
Yeah, I feel like it's a gift and a curse, because it does feel like it's feeding you jokes. Like you had one, I don't even know if it was really a joke, but it's very pointed. You were like, well, wouldn't Trump? Of course, Trump wouldn't let. I don't want to go political. I'm not very interested in it, but of course, Trump would let the state that didn't vote for him die.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, and I'm not.
You're not a political.
I'm not super political. I used to be more political and follow. Like I worked for Comedy Central for Indecision 2012 and stuff like that, and follow elections and that kind of thing. But the cancer kind of sideswiped that, and then all of a sudden Trump was president, and everything was just a endless barrage of psychological trauma. And plague. So that's
I do want to ask this, and this is I guess this is adjacent to what we're going to talk about, but just in general, I know that from outside point of view, you were in your own words, your style has traditionally been what you would call a joke machine. I think you called it a soulless joke machine.
Oh, I don't know if I called it that, but I do appreciate the compliment.
Okay. But you were just a sort of.
Yeah, here I could show you one of my notebooks, I guess, like just I've been going over today, where it is literally just me going. It just keeps going. I mean, this is a book of just they're all jokes. I don't know if any of them are good. Here, let me. No, that one's no good. Oh, was it Backup Dancers? Mm-hmm. Oh, this is something that turned out into something else, but Backup Dancers should be only used when all the original dance. So that's
yes.
But I mean, that's I guess this is a little bit older, and I have said that on stage a number of times,
But in the mode of like, I guess the most famous example is like in Attell, like somebody, your style isn't like his, but just someone who's just like their arsenal or their style is just like, I got one-liners coming at you, and a lot of them are kind of non sequiturs of or maybe a Hedberg sort of thing. That was, I think, the mode and tradition I would have put you in. But my question is, did your entire 2.5 year cancer ordeal, did that pull you in any sort of different direction, whether it was more confessional, more emotional, more personal, or because you did do a huge chunk of beautiful jokes that were completely in your style of jokes, but that completely dealt with that I want to say just like horrific, or that just wild period of your life where you were fighting cancer. You had this beautiful chunk of jokes that were about that were still very much in your voice. You didn't become a different comic. Do you think that's changed your style in general in one way or the other?
I do tell more anecdotes now since that. I would say that was the first time I could talk about things because it was just me. It was just me. Cancer's just me. So I felt like it was okay to make fun of things that were personal because they were so much just myself, as opposed to making fun of like family things, which I hadn't thought were very funny. So.
Yeah, that from there, that started for you like this emergence of like these like stark but hilarious jokes about your family life. That I think we're like, I've heard a few of them, but they started really coming in more in that era. And like, but the thing I've always appreciated about that transition was not only did it, I mean, you're already this great joke writer and prolific joke writer, but then these sort of new kind of warmer colors started coming in, but they were completely in your style and in your voice. Like you didn't, it didn't force you to like become more like more like Louis C.K.-ish or more like Mark Maron-ish, telling stories and stuff. You just were, you're still telling these sharp, tight jokes or one-liners, but like they were now aimed in this direction.
Yeah, I was trapped being me. It's no, I mean, I had to go. I did 6 months of chemo, and what was that? I had one because I lost all my hair and my eyebrows, and it's you can't really see it. I mean, I have hair now, obviously, but I had one joke that was like, because I was bald, nothing is as fun as looking like a neo-Nazi and Auschwitz victim at the same time. Which is real joke. Grim, real grim. But I mean, when you wander around, because I had like a leather jacket and I was bald. I never looked like an asshole, but what do you do? I don't know. I wore a lot of black.
And you probably needed that jacket to stay warm because you were pretty thin at that time.
It was thicker than human skin, so needed. I don't know. Someone just offered me. Yeah, go ahead.
Someone just offered you what?
Oh, a friend of mine just offered me a white leather jacket, and I'd be like, it'd be like wearing myself. Which is dumb, but true.
So I want to get into what those influences are, and I wonder if those will lead us back into any of this territory. But let's just talk about what those are. Let's start with the famous one, or the artist.
The famous one is, and this is a copy of a book that my sister gave me, but this is something that I remember in the first or second grade, just blowing my mind from A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein.
Oh, I think I had that book.
Stein, right?
Stein. I'm not sure what it is, but I think we all know. Yeah,
he might make it someday. I don't know. But the particular poem that blew my mind as a kid was, and I have thoughts on this now, and I don't think it might seem a little bit too PC and judgmental of. I don't want to seem like it's correcting women's fashion by any means, and you'll get my point in a second.
Yeah.
Is the poem they've put a brassiere on the camel? So the camel is yum yum. What a looker! I'll read you the poem. They've put a brassiere on the camel. They've put a brassiere on the camel. She wasn't dressed proper, They've put a brassiere on the camel so that her humps wouldn't show. And they're making other respectable plans. They're even insisting the pigs should wear pants. They'll dress up the ducks if we give them a chance, since they've put a brassiere on the camel. They've put a brassiere on the camel. They claim she's more decent this way. They've put a brassiere on the camel. The camel had nothing to say. They squeezed her into it. I'll never know how. They say that she looks more respectable now. Lord knows what they've got in mind for the cow, since they put a brassiere on the camel. See, now it's on that, because I hadn't read the full poem in a little while about, I don't know. I don't think we have, as men, have any rights over a camel's body.
Yes.
But I do recall just the logic of two humps and a brassiere over it as a kid being like, holy fuck, that's brilliant. And there are other poems in here I like more, but this is the one that stuck out as a kid. And I don't know if I even stand by this camel and those sexy humps, but
yes,
it is. I know they can retain a lot of moisture. That is, I mean,
what age were you when you
got those
toes? Oh, that is suggestive.
What? I was like in the first grade when.
Wow. So even then, that's very significant, because I had one of those moments too, where like I remember the book I read or the thing I saw where I was like, I know I may not have known it at that time, but in retrospect, there was no turning back from that moment, right? I don't know if this is one of those moments for you, but like I read a book and I was like, oh, and I walked through a door because of that book that I'm still walking through that door now. I'm still on that path because of that book that I read when I was 8 or 7 or something. Is this one of those kind of moments?
I just feel like this is one of those things where I'm a diehard Dr. Seuss fan also, and it was like I read a number of these in Dr. Seuss books, but like when I was at that age, I didn't realize they could also be dirty and silly, like silly in a dirty way, where it's like it was very. I don't know if it was like just a thing as a little kid. I still, reading it now, I feel a little bit weird about how it wants the message of the poem is trying to get everything prim and proper, which I don't know if I stand for, but I remember it blowing my mind as a kid, just making you think about boobs and a camel.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting to me how, I think those Shel Silverstein was like the original Pixar, where the poems are sort of like adults can enjoy them, but they're also sort of meant for kids.
Yeah.
So it's both is happening at the same time. And I love
kids have moms. They know what bras are.
They know what bras are. They know that there's boobies. They know that there's parts of people you're not supposed to see at certain times.
Boobies.
And I always think about this movie. There's a Wes Anderson movie that I love. It's probably my favorite one. I haven't seen all of them. Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise Kingdom. I have not seen that.
So in that movie, it's most of the movie. There's a lot of things that happen in the movie, but most of the movie is a love story between two 11-year-olds, and an almost adult love story. Like they see each other without most of their clothes on.
Wait, is that the one that is a lot like they're in camp? Or
yes.
Whatever. They're like,
yeah.
Okay.
And so it just doesn't condescend to like, it's not even teenage love. It's like pre-teenage love, or maybe they're 12 or something. And like some people say that like, oh, it's erotic, or it's he's like a pervert or something. But like, I remember like, if not feeling sexual, definitely feeling romantic and like liking girls' legs and their arms and their breath, you know what I mean? At 11, 12 years old, like, and I think it still retained its innocence, you know, and I'm always interested in that idea of like just like why, especially in this age, in the internet age, like why are we lying about the level of feelings that kids can feel? Maybe
I
it's
mean,
not appropriate for them to act on them in a certain way, but they are there.
yeah, no, little kids. I got huge crushes as a little kid. I remember, and even now, I've what is it? I know little kids who say filthy things, and as an adult, I guess I have 2 nieces, 2 nephews. I know that my nieces' friends like just like super tiny. It's like it's weird, but like I imagine that like the kids get. I remember as a little kid getting such a crush on various teachers, and like I've weirdly like I got like a love note from a second grader, and it's like what the fuck, like it's weird. Just ignore it. But like,
Yeah, I mean that's all we can do. We just ignore it, but like they're there, and those feelings are there. Not only are those feelings there, but I remember being that age and that feeling being so big there wasn't room for anything else.
no, I remember being in like the second grade and having a crush on a girl, and like I guess I still remember what they look like and having a crush on them, and it's like I don't know if I'd recognize them as an adult or anything like that. It's weird. It really is odd. Actually, I'll tell you a short, like really weird anecdote from second grade about I had a crush on this girl named Amy Wilson who didn't even know I was alive because I wasn't. No, I was. And she had long blonde hair, and it was for whatever reason. We usually had to sit in assigned seating for lunchtime. I went to Marcy Open School, and I sat next to her one day, and I had the biggest crush on her. And I just remember staring at her like a lunatic while eating my blue, and just staring at her and her long blonde hair, just like her turned away, staring, eating, staying, took a bite, stared, took a bite, and then she turned to me, and she just looked shocked, and like tears were running down her face, and I was like, and then I looked down, and her hair was running off of her head up through my sandwich and in my mouth. And I had swallowed out her hair, and she yanked it out, and I puked on her. So it was a bologna sandwich, some strawberry milk. You can ask if we be fucking. Fucking. Yeah, those were the days.
Oh wow!
She wore a lot of green corduroy.
That is a pure nightmare. Wow.
That was a pure nightmare. But
she was wearing nightwear. She was wearing a nightwear right there.
I mean, it was way worse for her than me, I imagine.
Probably. I mean, yeah, she was mortified too. But God, if I had a story like that, like I have stories that are pretty embarrassing. I don't have one like that. Holy shit.
Then Amy, when I was in the 5th grade, I tried to look tough in my jean jacket, spit on the ground. It was so phlegmy that it stuck all the way from the ground to my mouth and stayed as it went. And then I got stung by a bee in front of her. So that was maybe what I deserve. I don't know.
This is beautiful. It's so fun. My imagination, it was like God sent these curses to you to sort of seal your sense of humor into you so that you never could take yourself seriously again.
I don't know if thank you for making me believe in God.
I want to jump real fast because I don't want to skip it. What is the piece of art from a peer that you talk about?
So for there were some years where I was selling art at Union Square, like just for their holiday market and everything. Like sometimes I would go out there with just prints of my own work, and I'd point to things, and I'd have like little rhymes about things too. But there was this fellow who would walk through the park once in a while, and then I'd see him walking around. You can look him up. He goes by Sausage Head, if I remember correctly. Sausage Head, and he had a cardboard hat that he would wear with like this little pig thing. And I want to say he had a deep accent. Not super tall, super nice fellow. I want to say he was Haitian, but he had a.
Oh, I'm Haitian. Okay.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
He had a thick accent. And I run into him once in a while. And I would say he gave me this piece of art, which has a dedication on the back that actually keeps me going in a lot of ways and inspires me to work harder, because I don't quite understand why he gave me this dedication, or this particular piece of art. But I'll show you the piece of art for a second. And
okay.
Actually, maybe I'll show you some pieces of my art first, so you can just know where I stand as to like the nature of this. Like, okay, like here's a piece of my art.
Nice.
Like there's a Reddy and Freddy. Reddy has a nightlight nose and antlers full of ornamental shoes. They're both reading book fun. Like I have poems that go along with this. Okay, so they're just silly little like cartoon creatures. And things. This is the piece of art he gave me.
Oh wow! Oh, okay.
Okay, and then so it's kind of intense and silly. And I'll read you the back. Here, I'll show it. Just his inscription. As far as I can read, to Erik Bergstrom. From, and I want to say it says Paul, but it's from Sausage Head. You inspired me to put my dicks in frames, and quote unquote, the Prime Minister of Dick. So this piece of art, he didn't ask how to spell my name when I ran into him again. He just scrawled it down. I guess I inspired him, which I actually, this looks like it's really beautifully done. I mean, if you, this is silly, but I mean, look at that dick. That's all like just strokes that round. It is. And when you get into the, some of those are euros, some of those are dollars. That's euros, or is that the pound? That's the. I don't know science or economics. I just find like that's when. Oh, and then there is a hash. Hashtag cum shots and shitty fat ass.
Wow.
That's from someone I
think he took that from the Louvre, probably.
I think he quite did. Very much. It's something where I consider it to be. Now, me and him are friends, so it's not insulting.
Yes.
It's like my thought, like, is he making fun? Oh, wait, but, and look at that little, just like the little butthole, like with the arrow. It's so silly. It's so silly. But it also kind of goes back to like that, in essence, like that camel and putting the brassiere on it, and it's like slightly dirty. But when you said to find something that is an influence to me, it's just the first thing I thought of, because I have had very few people just say like, hey, you really inspired me to do anything. I mean, I've had some people say it, but it's like never have they given me a piece of art with an inscription on the back and like known I hadn't seen him in a number of years. He's a great dude. He wanders around Soho, or he did pre-pandemic with like copies of his comic book, Pigface. Like Vice has an article about him. He's really a great guy who I haven't seen in a little while, but this really makes me laugh. and it does make me think. Oh, look, there's little feet, and there's like just let's see, there's just like a little snake there. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
No, I totally. It's completely beautiful, and I get it. And to me, it speaks totally to your aesthetic, and this beautiful. Both of those pieces speak to me to. We really should do a part two because there's so much more we could talk about. But like, speak to like this beautiful, like impish line that you walk of especially what I think is out of nowhere become what I would say is your strong point, which is saying a lot because I think you're probably one of the best joke writers in the city. But I think you're
no.
you're such an incredible you're so incredible at crowd work. And I think the line that you walk is so beautiful of like sort of being a little provocative, a little bit dirty, a little bit kind of implicating the audience in something like, oh, I know what you did, you know, but making it fully playful and fully inviting everyone into it. Those pieces sort of, those look like catalysts to that of like, or look like barometers of like, if you could stay in that barometer of like silliness and fun and a little bit of lasciviousness, a little bit of impishness, then you're right in the right place.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about being, I mean, the whole point is to be silly, and I mean, if they're there to see me and other people, I'm definitely there to see them. So I want everyone to have fun, and I don't want to alienate anyone either. So it's like it's weird. I showed you in my notebook. It really is like a democratic process of what I can say, and like the things I think are funny and the things that they think are funny, the crossover, and then
the Venn diagram,
the waiver, and in what direction, and like some jokes are more for them, and some others are more for me, and I have to sell them better if they're ones I believe in more, but don't necessarily get the same reaction. It's an interesting process that I really love, and it kind of applies with art. Out of time, but
yeah, I want to talk more about this. But okay, we will do maybe towards the end of the quarantine, or maybe when the quarantine ends, we will do a part 2 about this, and so this will be up. Yes, no, sooner. So this will be up on my Facebook. I'm gonna ask you now, and I'll probably ask you again in the Facebook when you tag if you know any of the artists. Shel Silverstein is dead, but tag if you know how to tag Sausage Head. Please tag him in that in that thing. Please post a picture of your album cover as well, so people can find it and stream it. And whatever else you want to post it in the comments. That your stuff, so people can see it. And I thank you so much, Erik. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ralph. It's a pleasure to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Both of you, actually.
I am. Yes, we're feeling good. All right, buddy. I love you. Be well.
You too. Be well. Take care.